not asking you to assign innocence or guilt, but how disappointed are you that Carlton got himself in another situation the night after his return?
Well, obviously, you know, he was suspended for violation of team rules, and I'll leave it at that. But certainly very, very disappointed. You know, without going into any details, I'm not sure the timing on that. You said the night after. I'm not sure the timing on that was what you said is remotely accurate. But he was suspended for violation of team rules, and obviously that occurred last week. When we was made aware that there was a violation, and you guys obviously knew about it then, so may know more now.
With the depth situation being what it is, how do you get Landon to maximize his productivity without being worried about getting in foul trouble?
Well, you know, I was actually watching ESPN Game Day. And I was listening to the guys talk, and Bill has said something that I thought was interesting. You can get a basket back, but you can't get a foul back. And if you noticed a couple of times, especially in the second half when he defended Bam pretty strong, but when it was obvious that Bam had position on him, he kind of shied away from him a little bit. I think that's the kind of stuff he's got to do. You know, you're still going to foul if they're, you know, big guys are going to foul. There's going to be contact if you're aggressive at all. But he just needs to play with his head and his feet. And if you watched, his first foul was a foul, but his second foul was all because a guy gambled to miss the top, and the guy had a direct drive to the basket, and he just came over to help play. So those are the things you got to. Half the time, big guys fouls because guards make mistakes. And that's what we got to understand as a group. We need to keep the ball in front of us so it doesn't put him in harm's way near as much.
A lot of talk about the timing of that non-con game at Kentucky, all the hype there. Now that you're out at the other side of it, are you aware of what it kind of toll it took on your guys? Do you think it was a break? Do you think they're exhausted, or do you think they're fine?
I think they're fine. I'm not a big fan of the break in the conference season, but if you're going to have a break, you might as well play a game with that much hype against the two winningest programs in the country, and that is certainly that could generate that much interest for your program. So if you're going to take a break, at least have it be one that really matters, and certainly that game did. But I think if anything, it'll be a momentum push for us. It doesn't guarantee success moving forward, but certainly I think that it was definitely something that was very positive for our team.
Bill, talk about Baylor. I think it's going to be 2 versus 3 on Wednesday. How are they different? How are they same?
I just got, Chris just told me the polls came out and Baylor was 2 and we were 3. So, I mean, it's obviously going to be, not very often do you have a chance to host a top 5 team at home. And we were able to do that last year in an epic game, and I'm sure this one will be a hotly contested game as well. I think they're obviously better than they have been, and I think they've been very good in the past. They're longer up front, with their bigs and their depth up front, and certainly I think their zone is probably better than it has been, but they're playing more man now too. So I just think they're a better team. They're so deep up front. And then their point guard has had a terrific year, and then you got Ish, and you got Freeman, and all those other guys with experience on the perimeter. They're a total team, and a lot of times teams have an identity. It could be scoring more points. We're still trying to find ours, but it could be how fast they are, scoring more points. Their team identity is they don't let people score. I mean that is what they do, and so we're going to have to run really good offense.
What does Motley look like on film, and are you surprised at his development?
No, not at all. I thought he was terrific before this year. Matter of fact, I was hoping that he would test the waters last year because I thought he could be, without question, a first-round draft pick last year. But he's played himself. It was smart for him to come back to school, and he's certainly played himself into a higher pick. And anybody that can, that has had games where he's got 30 and 20 in a game, tells you how talented. That's hard to do. Tell you how talented he is. But he can score. He can rebound. He can do a lot of different things, and he can face and shoot. He's a great passer, and certainly he can score with his back to the basket. So that'll be a big challenge for Landon and our other big guys.
He's a different test than Bam was for Landon, right?
I think that Bam was obviously more power, although I think Bam's pretty skilled. I mean, but he was probably more powerful, where Motley can move anywhere on the court. I mean, he can make a 17-footer, or he can be a good passer, feed another big, or whatnot. So, yeah, it's a definitely a different test.
A lot of defensively, you'd like to stay with the man-to-man, but it seems that maybe there are some advantages to kind of mixing it up and maybe catching the other team a couple possessions by surprise.
Yeah, I think there is, depending on personnel. You know, if you're going against somebody that's got 3 guys all shooting 40% from 3, I'm not sure as much time as we spend on zone or combo, that would be a percentage play. But in certain situations, and I think, you know, it obviously helped us against Kentucky without question, but it may have helped us more offensively than defensively. You know, they still shot, well, they shoot 47 or 50% the second half. It's not like we stymied them by any stretch. But what I think it allowed us to do, I think it allowed the guys to stay in the game because maybe the fatigue factor wasn't as much. I mean, I hate to say that you could ever rest on defense, but with our particular zone, the way we played it, I think it kind of bought us some little time that we didn't have to sub quite as much.
How has Dwight handled some of the adversity he's gone through since he's been here with the injury?
How's Dwight?
How has he handled the adversity he's gone through?
I think Dwight's done pretty good. I'll be honest with you. We're all frustrated and a little disappointed that his health isn't better than what we anticipated it would be. We thought when he tore it and had surgery, you know, that was back early October. I think he had surgery the Monday or Tuesday after late night. So that was early October. And to think that we're what does that put us? 16 months out, and he's still not quite 100%. Now he's a lot better than he was 2 months ago, but it's not a structural thing at all. I think it's as much a strength thing and just confidence. And he is getting better. And certainly I thought he did pretty good the other night and did fine, but he's got to get in a little bit better physical shape. He got tired, and he'd be the first to tell you that. But you know, we're going to need him obviously to be a guy that can come in and give us quality minutes, considering our depth situation inside.
With Mitch and him, is that sort of a game-by-game feel, how you're going to use them and who's who?
I don't know. You know, it's we've only been going through it for one game,
yeah.
But you know, it may be a situation that in our mind we're going to start with him and see how he does, and know you're going to play the other one. If the other one comes in and plays better, maybe you go back to him before. That's kind of what we did the other night. You know, we gave Mitch a chance and gave Dwight a chance, and then I thought Dwight was probably going to be a little bit more effective guarding Bam than Mitch just because of his weight.
Before or after Wainwright left the Kansas City area, was he ever in your recruitment?
Oh yeah, Ish has been over here. Yeah, Ish has been over here, and we went to watch. I forgot what high school he transferred to. Out east. I've gone having a senior moment, but we went out there and watched him, and he had, you know, he played high school ball here in Kansas City, and then senior year he went back east, and we knew he was good. He was on our radar. He was one of those things that you know, a need and those sorts of things at that particular time. But yeah, I have total respect for Ishmael. Not only is he probably going to be the best athlete on the floor when you talk about all the different sports that he has been. You know, he was a great swimmer. You know, and certainly I guess that's how he got those shoulders. But he was a terrific athlete growing up, and he's been over here, but I think he's even a better kid than he is an athlete or a player. He's a terrific young man.
Based on whatever opponent you face, are your points of emphasis to your players, do they vary? Like, hey, I need you to be extra aggressive on the ball, or I need you to be extra scrappy because of whoever you're playing?
You could say that, but I think it's pretty consistent that we need basically the same things every game, but you may adjust how you go about getting them. Like for instance, I'll give you an example. You know, you want guys to be scrappy all the time, but if you're guarding a non-shooter and they have a low post presence, you don't trap the post, and you have to be extra scrappy on diving on the post. to try to disrupt him. So there's things in every game that you would say that we need you to do this when you're guarding that guy or whatever. But the core philosophy doesn't change. LaGerald Vick, we need you to be extra possession guy. This and that. Or Josh, we need you to be this. It doesn't change. It just may change game to game on how you go about getting it.
What about mentally vying for the Big 12 title? You had to go to Kentucky in the middle of the conference season. Do you think you have to address the
I think so. I think you have to address it. To me, and I've said it all along, I said, the Kentucky win wasn't as big as the West Virginia loss. And certainly if you don't play well on Wednesday, then it totally negates the good that the Kentucky game did. So, that's a big game to fans and all those things. But in the big scheme of things, and I said it after the game, and I thought it was actually one of my very few good analogies that I've ever come up with, is that, when you go to an AAU tournament, before the AAU tournament ever starts, they have a showcase game that doesn't mean anything. And that's kind of what that was. And then you get back into the tournament after that, and it didn't matter if you won or lost the showcase game. And I kind of looked, I know it's bigger than that, but I kind of look at the Kentucky game in that manner.
Bill, is Speed playing with as much confidence as he's had this year?
Speed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's playing with as much confidence. He was, I didn't, he went soft on a couple of plays, could have got an and one, didn't make his frees, 2 for 4 from the line in the first half, really didn't do much. But then he made 2 hard shots that were defended pretty well, that were really big for us, and he made his free throws late. Yeah, he knows he belongs. He's playing with confidence.
Late first half, Frank took it right at Bam. A guard of his size to be able to get the and one to avoid any kind of block shot. Can you just talk about that uniqueness and what Frank can do?
Yeah, Frank is. He doesn't. He doesn't see size. Like if you're standing there, he's coming at you. He just sees opportunity. He doesn't see what's in the way. But he is really good at finishing with either hand, and we've seen that. And now he didn't do it as good against West Virginia, but he certainly did the other day. And he's about as good as I've seen as far as a little guy playing through contact. Whether it be the slightest nut, a slight nut on a guy that weighs 180 pounds going against a guy that weighs 260, a slight nudge is still a pretty good bump. And he's as good as I've ever had finishing through contact.
Did you address getting stronger or anything like that with him in the offseason? What did you want him to work on?
No, because I'll be honest with you, Matt. He's been that way ever since we started playing him. If you go back when he was a sophomore, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when we ran crap offense back in the past and we had to win a game, it was just play take them, Frank. So this is nothing new for him trying to be aggressive like that.
Is his leadership more important than some of the off-court distractions you guys have to deal with? Is his leadership more important for this team right now?
I think that he and Devontae's leadership is vital, and Landon is vital. But I would throw it into just in the limited realm of what you said. It's going on with everything. It's certainly. I think our guys definitely draw confidence from those three and their words. Frank's not a big talker, so Devontae talks more, but Frank sets the tone. Frank is our energy giver more so than anybody else. He sets the tone for everything.
Was that the next year for Josh? You've talked a lot about he's got some more that he can give.
Yeah, I think so. I watched the game and watching it through it. He was pretty solid throughout. Kind of kept us in it early when we really were struggling, and then made some big plays to timely plays to make sure we kept them at least a distance that 2 or 3 possession difference. And I thought he was fabulous on both ends. I thought he rebounded. I thought he defended. I thought he played with energy. I thought he thought next play. You never saw any negative nor positive body language. It was just, hey, next play. And I thought he handled the environment very well.
their behavior in general, just the need to follow certain rules?
Yes, we have those conversations constantly, all the time, but certainly we have since then, since that was your question. You know, the violation of team rules, you know, as it was stated and also backed, it wasn't in connection with the alleged incident. But it's something certainly that was a violation of team rules. But yeah, we talk to our guys all the time about stuff like that.
You said West Virginia was a big boy game. Is Baylor a big boy game?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you're going against 7 foot 6'10" or whatever up front, and you have the bench that they have inside. I mean, they're a physical, long team, and that's one reason why their zone is so good, because they're so long. I think they have 3 guys in their starting lineup with above 7'5" wingspan. Is that right? I mean, I think Ish is right there too. Is that right? Or is he 7'1"? Maybe it's above 7'1". But yeah, you know, you get up high and wide, and certainly it makes everything look guarded. And yeah, this will be a big boy game. This will be a fun game.
Coach, there was a member that left the program at the end of December. Can you speak at all whether that was related to?
Oh, with Evan? No. That was, well, he didn't leave the program. He left the program after that, after he went home and consulted with his parents about this. Yeah, Evan wants to take some time off. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything concerning that alleged incident, and also he wasn't even here when that occurred. When guys are redshirted, just so I can make it clear, so that maybe there won't be questions past it. When guys are redshirted, when their semester is over, we give them the option, hey, do you want to go spend 2 extra days with your family or whatever before we come back after Christmas? We gave him, and he, with our blessing, did that. So Evan was not even here when that occurred, and you know, I know you guys, obviously, whether you believe me or not, there's no factual basis that I can say this positively didn't, because but I'm telling you the truth. There's absolutely, I mean, that's east and west. It's not even in the same deal. What he had going on and why he did what he did was a personal thing to him.
So Josh is newcomer of the week for the 5th time. Frank is favorite for player of the year. Devontae is solid. That being said, with your core group of guards, is Landon underappreciated?
Sure he is. Sure he is. Hey, let me go back. Josh was newcomer of the week this week. Who was player of the week? Juwan. Okay, so he must have had a big game, and I'm sure he did. But he must have had a big game. But I think Landon, to me, is and I'm going to be a little bit negative about Landon. Okay, Landon is a guy that when we recruited him, we thought could be a rotation guy in time. Like I talked to his dad, I talked to Landon. Well, redshirt him, freshman year won't play. Maybe by the time the end of his sophomore year, he could be in the rotation. Well, by the time of the end of his sophomore year, he was a starter. Okay, and then last year he wasn't a starter. We were looking kind of for something else, and what did we come back to? Landon. This year he was starting, and then we kind of went a different direction, and because we didn't think he was playing very well, what did we come back to? Landon. He's like your binky or your security blanket. I mean, he's a guy that no matter how bad we want to get rid of him, we don't want to get rid of him. That's not said right. No matter how bad we think that, you know what, if we could just get somebody else, we haven't found anybody as good or better. He's been good. I mean, he's been really good. And so sometimes, and I mean that with all sincerity and seriousness and in a complimentary way towards Landon, but when you coach at a place like Kansas or Duke or North Carolina or Kentucky, you're always thinking recruit these high level guys. And you want to do that, but sometimes when you recruit high level guys, people forget they still got to beat out somebody that's damn good, that's been here and experiencing that kind of stuff. And I will not, you guys know me, I don't go around. I told our guys after the game, I said, you know what, if I tell you I'm proud of you, you'll mistake you'll mistake kindness for softness. I said, so I'm not going to do it. Okay? But it's the same way with him. I probably don't tell him as much, but he's as appreciated as any kid that we've ever had here. He's smart, he's so good with you guys, he's intelligent, he has done everything we've asked him to do, even when, you know, the fan base may get onto him because he can't finish and as well and all this stuff, but you know, he just keeps coming back. And then all we're doing is talking about how are you going to win if Landon gets 2 fouls. Who would have ever thought we recruit a guy that everybody would say, how are you going to win if Landon gets 2 fouls in the first half? And that's how important he is to us. So that's about as complimentary as I can be towards anybody.
Coach, Bragg's suspension is stated as indefinite at this point.
Yeah.
What factors play into your decision about how long to extend that?
Great question. And the answer is I have no idea. Okay? He's not going to play against Baylor. And whether or not he plays after that, I don't know. As you know, there's some things within a family. You know, you guys understand. You know, as a head of a family, you don't talk about your guys publicly. But in this particular situation, I have to address it because it is public. I mean, I understand that. But what goes on behind the scenes to determine certain things will be something that is talked about amongst us. And right now, I do not have a timetable at all. So you guys can ask me every day, but at least you can wait until Thursday because I guarantee you he's not going to play on Wednesday. Okay.
Anything else?
Coach, did KU Athletics speak to KU Police at all about trying to withhold Carlton Bragg's name in connection with the possession charge?
No, not at all. We don't have anything to do, well, you know, you say KU Athletics, so that's above me, okay? But we don't have anything to do with how the police does their job, nor would we ever interfere, okay? I will tell you this, Carlton Bragg or your son or your daughter or anybody else that's a student on here should be treated the exact same. They should all be treated the exact same. However it's handled in one situation, that should be the way it's handled in another situation. I'm not running from that at all. The fact that, you know, obviously I told you guys last week he was suspended, obviously, for violation of team rules. And you guys can add 2 and 2. So the whole deal, he's been suspended for violation of team rules, and when we found out about it, then we acted on it immediately. So.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Okay, guys.